White light through the trees, bright light, let me feel sweet lights favor you. Bright light, let me through. Foul flies flee from me. Goodbye, now you're free.
So hey guys, it's been a little bit of a busy week. I've been trying for the last month or two, trying to upload videos consistently every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. I missed a day or two. Things have just been a little busy here. Some kind of crazy and wild things have unfolded as well. And I figured I'd just take the week off, you know, and just kind of regroup and go from there. Tonight I was like, let's get something made here. So I figured I'd just make a real quick vlog here, share a couple things that have unfolded here in the last couple days. And I'm going to try to go out and harvest some Danny corn. That's one thing I wanted to do an update on. I was really skeptical whether we'd actually get some Danny corn this year. Well, I'm looking at a lot of this corn and it's really not looking promising. Like I don't want to look at the glass half full, but I'm trying to look at this very realistically. And it's not looking good. I'm looking up here, I'm seeing a little bit of tasseling happen, a little bit of tasseling happen on a couple of these others. I don't see any silks developed on this. And, you know, early part of October, we start hitting our frost period. Once that happens, the corn comes to a halt. And it looks like I think we are going to. We got some snow coming, I think tonight, next couple of days here. But when I look at the highs, I think like the 30s, 40s, and I don't think that snow is going to stick around very long, but I want to try getting some of this Danny corn harvested. I have been planning on leaving some of this just for the wildlife, but I do want to get enough seeds for next year, and I do want to get a few, just to do a little bit of experiment, grinding into a flour, as well as maybe try and do some corn nuts or something like that with them. And I figured there's some pieces. I'm 6'1", and there's some stuff that's up there pretty tall, so let's go out and take a look at it real quick.
Foul flies flee from me. Goodbye, now you're free. Oh, feel it coming.
So I am just floored at, first off, how tall these things are. I can easily see them from our house over our wood piles. And then where the actual cobs sit on some of these. I'm 6'1". I have to reach way up to grab most of these. There's some of these I'm jumping at, I can't even reach.
White light through the trees, feed my family.
Alright, I just grabbed a couple off out there. So I laid all these out on this sheet here with paper towels under it. I'm hoping to speed up the drying a little bit. I'm going to save the seeds off of these. I got a bunch of other cobs out there, so maybe I'll end up discarding some of these, but I'll let these dry on the cob, because you can see I was pulling these off and it looks like I'm breaking a little bit of the kernel here, so probably not the most ideal, but it should be fine for food, especially I'm going to be using this here pretty soon. Once these get dried enough, maybe we'll try grinding into a flour or something, but these ones I'm saving, hoping to carry over some of the characteristics. Pretty nice sized cob here. Same sort of deal with this one, a little bicolor. I really like the dark colors of this one here. This one is dried out a little bit nicer. It seems like it's finished a little bit better. This red one I think is just gorgeous. Such a pretty color. The kernels are really nice and big, so I'm hoping to carry over some of the characteristics. Obviously this one here is a little on the small side, but this could very well be due to the soil. So I'm going to try carrying these seeds over and see what happens. And also we get a handful of these that sort of have the red sprinkled in them. So we'll let these dry out. We'll save them for next year's seeds, and then we'll do a little test run. Then I got a bunch of others out there, and I'll probably go out and harvest some more of those. But I was quite pleased here. So this is one other one I ended up harvesting maybe a week ago. It's been sitting here drying. Definitely some of the smaller ones. It was just this little small cob or two that I ended up grabbing, but it's starting to dry. This is actually stuff that came out of the popcorn. Remember how I showed you guys how it had that random field corn in there? I went back and looked on Johnny's site, and I think I have a pretty good idea on what field corn this is. It's actually an heirloom variety that's been carried along for quite a long time. So I'm excited. I don't think I'm going to probably end up getting the same stuff next year, but I'm going to try planting some of this stuff and see what happens. But I also got some of this stuff drying out because I want to do a little taste test on something like this as well. So I thought I would share a little story. You know, I mentioned we've been kind of busy. We had something recently unravel here that was, I guess you could say, a new experience for us. So we're not really quite sure what happened, but it's definitely an adventure. It was last Friday, about midnight, or a little bit past midnight. My wife woke me up, and there was something going on at the chicken coop. You could hear some chickens rustling around. There was some commotion going on. So I grabbed the 22, and my wife grabbed, we have this big, huge spotlight. It's like a 1 million candle watt type thing. But lo and behold, it's like anytime you need something like that, it was like half charged up, so it wasn't quite running at its optimal performance. So we're out there shining around. We can see 2 sets of eyes. And our chicken coop sits about 100 feet back from our house. So it's a little hard to judge at that distance what was going on. And then of course we got that hayfield back there, and we couldn't really tell if one of the sets of eyes was in the hayfield or was out in the shorter grass. If it was something that was out in the hayfield, it had to be something pretty big, because our dog, which is a 100-pound, black lab, the eyes are just barely sticking out and something like that. And these eyes were pretty visible, just with the length of the hay is right back there. So I'm thinking maybe potentially a bear, that just hasn't gone into hibernation, looking to get a little snack here. But if it was out and into the short grass, then I'm thinking it's something else. We have problems with coyotes from time to time. Wolf generally seem to be, onesie twosies. We see them here and there, but they seem to stick to themselves, and we haven't really noticed them packing up too much in our area. So I don't think there were wolf. And coyotes, generally, as soon as the light comes out, they're gone. Or a lot of times they'll even let off like a warning yip or, kind of howl type thing. And, or bark, I guess, more I should say. And sort of this warning thing. And I don't think it was coyotes. And the thing that really threw me through a loop here was when we started kind of figuring out where they were. There was 2 sets. One of them seemed a little timid. The other one didn't really seem to have a care in the world. I shot the 22 up in the air a couple of times, and it was like it almost just was sitting there staring us down. It wanted to challenge us or something. But this thing's sitting there a ways away, and we're still relatively close to the house. So I'm not really quite sure what something like that was. So what we ended up doing is getting into the car, because we just weren't sure what was going on. This thing really didn't seem to have any fear. When we started driving out there, wherever it was, by the time we got the car out the garage and headed in that direction, it had already taken off. So in this process, I ended up talking to the neighbor. He's got a lot of livestock, cattle, stuff like that. And I said, have you seen any, like, different predators? Because he's had problems with wolf and different animals at times. And he said, well, I haven't really seen anything too out of the norm. However, my grandson, he's got a couple trail cams set up on, like, there's 128 acres or something sitting right over here, and he said he's got cam sitting up on that, and he's caught a bobcat here. So I don't know if it was 2 sets of bobcats kind of teaming up there. So we ended up losing a chicken, but we haven't had any problems since then. But it was just kind of a different experience. A lot of times when I've encountered, or I've been very fortunate in that department, I come across wildlife quite often, and when I do, there's usually a fear there. So I don't know if there's something else going on. I know in Minnesota, even with rabies, I don't think there's been a confirmed rabies case since like 1997 or something crazy like that in the state of Minnesota. So, I mean, it's possible something like that could happen. It could, so I don't know. It was kind of an interesting story, a little adventure for the night. So Anyways, I thought I would turn on the camera a little bit tonight and just kind of hang out a little bit and catch up. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.